Hello, interweb friends. Today we're going to have some fun with the Casio SK-1 sampling keyboard. Now, a video about SK-1s isn't anything super new. However, there is kind of an unsung feature to this that I don't really see a lot of other people talking about. And truly, I think it's one of the most powerful features of the SK-1. One of the most popular features of the Casio SK-1 was its ability to sample things. A similar thing is seen in its brethren, the SK-5, which has 4 built-in samplers. This just has 1. And it lets you basically do this. Ha! Now, one of the reasons that the SK-1 is so popular today is because the sample processing is run through an 8-bit signal chain, which effectively means you can turn anything into a lo-fi sound, which is obviously the cool new hipster thing to do. But that is not at all my favorite feature of the SK-1. I've got it hooked up to my DAW. Let's talk about my favorite feature, which is the synthesizing feature. So there's this blue button here to synthesize your own sounds. And down here on the bottom are these different foot divisions that you can use to add harmonics onto a basic sine wave. What's more is that above each of these black keys is little filter sections, so you can actually add different filters to your synthesized sound. So here's how this works. You start by pressing the synthesizing button, which is going to give you just a really simple sine wave. And now you can add on these harmonics. You can add a bunch to each step, and doing this will allow you to create a variety of different instruments. So if I just say add 2 high ones, press this, now I have that sound. Now I can press envelope select and press the envelope I want, which in this case, let's press this envelope. Now I have a vibraphone. Or let's say I wanted to make an electric piano, add the low in a bunch of times, get an electric piano. Same goes for, let's say you want to make an oboe. Add in some of this area. Select an envelope here. Now we have an oboe. More or less. It's abstract because we're just adding harmonics onto a sine wave and modifying that with envelopes, but you get the idea. It's just fun to experiment and see what different kind of sounds you can come up with. The reason I bring up the synthesizer section is because I have created 2 sound libraries using the synthesized sounds from this machine, one of them being KZO-LINA, which is a string ensemble collection, and the other one KZO-KEYS, which is a free Ableton instrument that's basically an electric piano. Both of which have the unique flavor of being created by a small portable keyboard that's operated by batteries from the 80s, so that's fun. So the first one we'll talk about is the KZO-LINA. This is a Decent Sampler library, and it is the most robust Decent Sampler library I have ever built, to say the least. This is created using a bunch of different instruments that were synthesized using the SK-1. This instrument is in part inspired by the Solina synthesizer, which is a synthesizer from a similar time frame as the SK-1, which performed a similar task of having sort of an orchestra at your disposal within one synthesizer. But the one thing it lacked was the ability to control any volumes or panning or anything with each individual sound. You could just turn them on or off. So I kind of expanded on that here and allowed you to turn them on and off, as well as add some expression envelopes, some dual filters, and such. So I'll just play a couple of the presets for you to get an idea of what this thing sounds like. So that is my Decent Sampler library, KZO-LINA. You can scoop it up in the store for $5. I will put the link down below. Before we dive into KZO-KEYS, I just want to give a shout out to Robert over at Bad Combine. He helps me test these different instruments and has been really helpful in being able to deliver you a reliable working piece of software. And also, he's just an artist like us making really cool music, so go check it out. I'll put his link down below. And thanks again, Robert, for all your help. The next instrument I designed using the SK-1. It works in any edition of Live 11 or higher. And the elements that make up KZO-KEYS are the electric piano from KZO-LINA, as well as a vibraphone, which adds sort of a bell tone to it. So here's just the keys. And here's the keys with the bell. Just kind of gives you another flavor element. Some keyboard has like a bell in it. I forget which one it is. Somebody can put it in the comments below. Make me look silly for not Googling it. But that's what inspired me to put the bell in here. So I'm going to play you some of the presets, and I actually find that for sounds that were synthesized on just like a really cheap keyboard, that these actually sound pretty good. So anyway, that's my fun with the SK-1 and the synthesizer mode, which allows you to do some fun things. So you can do a lot more with this than just sampling farts. Links to both will be in the description below. And this is not the end of the KZO line. There will be some more instruments and some more fun to be had with this. I've got a list of ideas, and they will be delivered eventually. I don't plan on having a Patreon anytime soon, so the store is a great way for you to support the channel, as well as get yourself something out of the transaction. And I like to keep a balance of paid and free stuff on the store, so be sure to check out future stuff coming out. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. In case you can't hear it, it says subscribe.